Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Debs and this is Silver Valley Flame. Today I wanted to look into the case of Suzanne Morphew and the energy behind the whole case and what it's a wee bit different. So this is what I would call a soul reading on the case of Suzanne Morphew. And just to give you a brief background on Suzanne's case, on 2023, Suzanne's remains were positively identified after years of uncertainty, and now prosecutors have indicted her husband, Barry, again on first-degree murder charges. Currently, he is out on bond, a $3 million bond, which people are absolutely horrified by. And I just thought, like, how can this be? It looks and feels like if you've got money, you can do anything, as regards the law. Um, so this has really riled me. So I just thought, like, let's just have a wee look at it from a soul perspective. I thought it might be interesting to look at the energy behind the story, and a lot of the feelings that I was getting was silence. There's a lot of silencing, like people not speaking their truth, a lot of secrecy within the dynamic of the family. Didn't feel like to me a family who was very open, like close. I can just go by what I feel. Again, this is all alleged, my opinion, and no fact. But I feel like there's a lot of separation in the family. So let's just, I'm just here in my living room doing this. Usually I would be up in my healing room, but today my son's home from Japan, so I don't have the room. He's in the room, so I just thought I'd just sit here and do this. So I'm just going to be holding up the cards basically, but I won't be pulling that many cards as I'm going to try and just think it more to my intuition. But I'm also sensing like the weight of control and domination within this family, and there seems to be a lot of sorrow as well. I'm talking about before Suzanne's passing, and the general feeling of reclamation from Suzanne as regards to what she wants to happen in regards to women and self-empowerment, basically. These are just the energies that came forward because, as I say, I feel there was a lot of suppression, and there's no judgment here at all. I'm just feeling into the energy behind the family. So I'm just going to ask Tarot for one card that gives me the energy of the whole family shortly before, let's say, a week before Suzanne's passing. One card, please. This is the whole family. There you go. 4 of Wands in reverse. So that's not the happy family. If this was in the upright, it would be everything's fine and dandy. The family's all good, but no. There was a lot of instability in the family, and as a dynamic, the family wasn't happy. The bottom of the deck, we have the moon, which is secrets. So we do know that Suzanne was having an affair, and Barry, I think, as far as I know, was a bit of a dodgy character as well. So I find that interesting because it gives us some insight into the family. Let's have a look at the girls. I know there was 2 girls. One's called Mallory, and the other one, the name begins with M as well. But let's look into the energy of both the girls. Let's look at Mallory. Show me Mallory. Show me Mallory's energy before the time It's at the same timeline, say about a week before Suzanne disappeared. One card, please. She's looking forward to a new beginning. Bottom of the deck, the star in reverse. So things weren't too good. Really, the energy, this is the energy, where it's coming from. This is her hopes and fears and her outlook on life. But this is, she was thinking, I'm not really getting what I want here. So it was like any young child. I think they were probably young teenagers at the time. So she was just feeling, looking forward to her future. And let's look at the other daughter. Pardon me, I don't know her name, but I just asked the other daughter, show me her energy a week before Suzanne disappeared. 7 of Swords. So this is a card of deception. Bottom of the deck, we have Judgment in reverse. So this is a lack of awareness. This could be just feeling like she knew that something was hidden and she knew that something just wasn't quite right in the family. Okay. Let's now look at Suzanne's energy to see her, how she was in the family dynamic before she disappeared. The Tower in reverse. So she was treading on eggshells. She was hoping something wouldn't explode. She was just biding her time, basically. The 9 of Wands is at the bottom of the deck with Suzanne. So it's like she was like at the end of her rope, really. She's just like, things can't go on like this or else this is going to happen. So she was trying to stop the worst thing happening. And she was sad, which is underneath the card of regret and sadness. So now that Suzanne's remains have been found and they know that this drug ban has been found in her bones, let's ask Suzanne on a mediumship level what she hopes will be the outcome when all the evidence is in, when they've finished looking in to the remains. What is your hope, Suzanne? What is your hope? She hopes that it will bring harmony. She hopes that it will bring choices. She hopes that it will open up the investigation again. Yeah, a brand new beginning at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Let's look at the energy of Barry now, that he is out on this bond. He's only out on this bond from about 3 weeks ago. This is the 7th of October 2025 as I am doing this reading. So let's look into Barry's energy to see how he's feeling about the situation so far with the remains and with this strong evidence, because apparently this balm is used, it's an animal tranquilizer, and he's the only one apparently who is licensed in that state to use it. But there's very few, if he's not the only one, there's very, very few who are licensed to use it, because he's a deer hunter. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But anyway, the fact that it was in the home and the fact that they found it in Suzanne's bones, it does feel pretty huge, but they have let him out. So let's see how he's feeling at the minute, now that he's out. He's celebrating. He's not allowed to drink alcohol as far as I know, but I mean, this card usually represents alcohol. At the bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups. Again, moving forward, look at me. I'm great. I'm, wonderful. I haven't a care in the world. Okay. Let's look into the energy of the daughters. Let's look at the daughters, because they both seem to support Barry in any public appearances. Correct me there, I think I'm wrong. I think when he last got out, it was just one of the daughters that came to greet him. So let's look at the energy of the daughter who came to greet him when he left jail that last time. Let's look at her energy now. She's burdened. She's healing. Okay. Let's ask why she's feeling burdened. This is just a very rough reading. I haven't got my proper system around me here, guys, but I will go into this in more detail because I'm very interested in it. For those of you who follow me, I do have a setup where I have, the cards and my lighting and everything's different, but I'm just in my living room here and I just felt called to do this. Okay, so let's ask why she's feeling heavily burdened. Why is the daughter who went to greet him when he got out of jail the last time, why is she feeling heavily burdened? Something to do with being in public. Six of Cups in reverse is at the bottom of the deck. So being seen in public with what's happened in the past, and all the publicity and everything that's been going on, and with her father being out and the outrage, I feel that there we have underneath that, the 10 of Cups, which is a happy family. So I feel like she just feels like she can't really move on because there's so much controversy over this case. Anything else you'd like to tell me about this daughter? Does this daughter still fully support her father without any doubt in regards to his guilt? Could you give me cards for that, please? Sadness, heartbreak, bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles in reverse. She's trying to feel certain, like she did before, but she's not, is what the cards are telling me. Why is she not feeling the same as she did before? Wheel of Fortune in reverse. She feels like because the case is still being looked into, that she can't fully embrace the fact that her father is free at the minute because he's just out in a bond. Okay, let's ask the big question. I'm just looking into this one daughter, the daughter who greeted him when he got out of jail. Let's ask, does she have any doubts now in regards to his innocence? Knight of Wands. This tells me she's charging along and feeling balanced. Clarification. Two of Wands in reverse. With the 7 of Swords at the bottom. Um, okay, so they're telling me that behind in her own thoughts, and she's feeling like she's not too sure what direction to go into in regards her own thoughts. But in public, okay, she's putting on, everything's fine, we're going ahead, everything's harmonious. But deep down, she feels that there is deception and that she's not sure which way to direct her thoughts at the minute. Let's just clarify that Seven of Swords there, the deception. Please give me more detail on the Seven of Swords there. So this is her father, the Emperor. He's a very powerful person. So why are you giving me the Emperor there? The Devil. She deep down feels allegedly that her father has something to hide. Okay. And there's some fear rising up in her in regards to that. Okay. Interesting, isn't it, guys? As I say, that's just a wee taster of what we can do. I would like to go back to Suzanne. I've got my little mediumship deck here. And I'd like to get a message from Suzanne through the mediumship deck and ask her what she'd like to say. What would you like to say, Suzanne? What's the message you'd like to bring forward today about what we've just been talking about? Okay. The two that fell down. Okay, let's just roll the dice here. See what we've got. Number 8. The wisdom I leave behind is to never leave words of love unspoken. I feel like she's referring to her child there. You can see an adult and a child playing ball. So that's a message for her children. And the song is I'm Already There by Lone Star. So let's interpret the second message, which I just dropped again. There it is. Number 7. The cycle you're breaking is carrying burdens. What did we say about how that the one daughter was feeling? She felt like she was carrying a heavy burden. And so this is saying the cycle you're breaking is carrying burdens that don't belong to you. So she's recognizing that the child's life is being affected due to carrying the burdens of the fathers, as they say, things get handed down. Some patterns repeat until you decide to change them, but a child can't help but carry the burden of its ancestors unless it is healed. So Suzanne is recognizing that, and she is saying here that the song is Africa by Toto would be one to look into the words of if you want to understand her message. Again, seems to be messages to her child. So she's very concerned about her children. She's very concerned when I tune in to her energy. I feel like I wrote something down earlier on when I was tuning in. There's like a release, and there's like a feeling of there's more to come, is what I wrote down. I wrote down also that secrecy. She's talking about secrecy. Um, may your truth be heard. I've written that down. And may the hidden be brought to light. Um, these are just words that I wrote down when I was channeling her earlier. If you've ever lived with a secret or held back your voice or known you were not free, this case will call you to see how the same pattern may live in you, even in small ways. So that's what she was saying about her child there, how much burden her child is carrying through no fault of her own. But how important it is to talk, how important it is to not have secrets, because obviously everything could be avoided if honesty was there instead of secrecy. Um, that's everything that I wrote down when I tuned in earlier. So, guys, a wee bit more, did I? So, guys, if you'd like me to do another reading on Suzanne, put in the comments and I will do that. I'll go up to my room and get my other camera on and do a proper reading and use my true crime deck. Because I do feel very called to her energy. There was another case that I'd like to look into the energy of, and that was what's it? This little boy called Elliot, who stabbed his twin sister and claimed that it was through sleepwalking that he done it. But when I tuned in, there's a documentary on about it on YouTube or Netflix, I think it is. When I tuned into the energy of the whole family, there's just so much depth to what was going on behind the family. So I thought that would be interesting to do that. But if you have any other cases that you'd like me to look into, I'll see what I'm drawn to and start to do a few more. But I want to do them more as from a perspective of how true crime affects you and your psyche and why you're drawn to it and what it brings out in you and the parts of you that you can heal to avoid, you know, drastic acts and desperation and secrets and just the formation of knots in your energy, because that's what I do. That's the work that I do. I go in and I untie the knots and clear karma and dissipate stuck energy in people's systems. So that's why I'm so drawn to true crime, because I love understanding people, how their minds work, and getting to the bottom of it. So, guys, thanks so much for bearing with me and listening. And if you'd like to see more, put a wee like and a comment, and I'll be on again with the next one. But I'll definitely be on pretty soon doing this reading up in my workroom up there and with the crime deck and everything else that goes with it. So I hope you enjoyed that, rough as it was, and I'll see you next time. Bye.